potential gold shorts. I'll probably only scalp this. Nothing crazy. Good morning, bro. Appreciate you hopping on. I sent this trade idea to the chat. I don't know if you saw this, the EURUSD setup. Basically, I'm looking for another reaction off this trend line that's facing up, and then I'm looking for these two reactions to create that trend line, or to create that trend. So once that's gone, we should see that follow up. And of course, the 50 moving average with potential shark fin on the 1 hour. I'm good, bro. Thank you for asking. I'm good. Hope all is well with you. I was also looking at US30, and the continuation is inevitable, bro, but I think it's gonna keep pushing. Um, and no problem, bro. I really want to do New York sessions more often, bro. It's just my work schedule. It just collides with this session, so it's really hard. I had today off, so I decided to hop on. Was also looking at gold. We could see some, I mean, this could push from a little lower. So we could see some potential gold shorts this morning around open. Something like that. I would like to see that shark fin in play though, when it's around that 50 moving average. I really like Euro USD. This is the trade I'm looking forward to. And I'm more confident with this because it looks like it's already heading towards shark fin territory. We have a previous shark fin on the 4 hour that it's pretty much retesting previous structure. And when you go to lower time frames, you can see that there was also that break retest of the 50 moving average with the shark fin creating divergence currently on the 30-minute. On the 15-minute, you can see it's also heading towards that shark fin territory. I don't really like this as much, but there was a previous shark fin with that's kind of currently creating divergence that has yet to play out. And if you hear a baby, that's my daughter in the back. Are you looking at anything or anything you wanted me to look over before NYSE? Those are really just the pairs I was more focused on. Yeah, EU does look pretty good. Man, I can't tell you how many trades like this that I had planned out and then I canceled and then eventually it worked out. So I'm really I'm really going to stop canceling trades, to be honest, and just letting these trades run. And I set my risk correctly, so it shouldn't affect my trading. It's just, sometimes TDI doesn't look the same, market doesn't look the same. So okay. So I mean, I do a top-down analysis. I always start in a daily, and I'll draw some horizontal lines or some boxes around candle closures and wicks. So as you can see, a lot of wicks over here, candle closures, break of structure, retest of structure, and then of course, if there's like an area between the wick and the body, or if there's maybe just an area that needs to be covered, I would draw another line to kind of let me know that this is an area of confluence, not just a direct price. So I never just draw one line and hope that that's the price that it rejects. I try to draw an area and then I do the same thing all over the board, and then I scale down to a lower time frame. I check and see if those zones are accurate with price. So they are pretty accurate here. We do have a break here, but it was just a nice consolidation before the break, and then the break back through. Came back, consolidated in this area again. Wicks body candle closures push. And of course, we have a higher point of resistance. So I draw another line. And then of course we came back. It's about to retest structure. This is where we're taking the trade. So I'm more confident in doing that, and then I just scale all the way down to around the 30, 15-minute time frame to see if those zones still make sense, which they look pretty good, pretty clean. So yeah, I hope that helps, bro. So it's basically just a simple top-down analysis, marking up um where price is having the most reactions, and then drawing an area around that price, and then then that's how my structure is set up. And if it's a lot different or a little different to the way I used to trade, it's just because everything in trading requires tweaking and adjusting in order for you to get better. And I feel like, I lost a lot of trades because I wasn't as accurate as I was supposed to be. It's constantly changing how I marked up structure and just scaling too low on time frames. So my biggest problem was coming to the 1 5 minute and 15 minute, setting up on those time frames. Um, not realizing, not thinking that those are very temporary. So I try to avoid the 1 minute, 5 minute, and 15 minute for marking up structure. I do try to correlate it with the higher time frames, but I try to avoid those time frames when marking up structure because the structure on those time frames are very temporary. They get broken easy, or their own. It's just a matter of um those being based off of the higher time frames anyway. So if I was on if I was on the 5 minute, I probably would mark a horizontal line right here. Where there's resistance, 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 resistance. Does that make sense? But it's very likely that there could be liquidity between that resistance that has to be, retested or hit. So if people are counting on this resistance and then basing the stop right above it, they could get stopped out, and then market can go in our favor. So we want to be very careful. That's why it's very important to mark up structure on higher time frames, and then make sure you have a zone or an area, not just um not just a specific price. So for this one, for example, there is perfect resistance here. We have candle closures, we have wicks, break, retest. So in this price right here, 1.09300 was, a very significant area for rejection. But, the 50 moving average is right above it, which would be considered dynamic resistance. And then we also have the wicks with the candle closures right here as well, which is these are where the breaks happen. So I would say that these are more significant than the lower point of resistance. Plus, I can see it already. Someone trying to scalp it now and then getting caught up in that. Like, let's go to the 1 minute. Like, let's just say, someone tried to scalp it now at this point of resistance, get stopped out at liquidity up here at 400, and then it'll go in their favor. So that's just how I personally see it. All right, we have NYSE in 10 minutes. No news really that's related to this. So I'm not really too concerned with fundamentals. So if I am scalping and looking for lower time frame shark fins, it has to match a higher time frame confluence. So I'm so sorry, guys. So if I'm looking at a 5 minute shark fin, there would have to already be a 1 hour, 4 hour daily in place, or a 30 minute at least for or maybe that 30 minute divergence, something. There has to be some other higher time frame confluence for this to play out, or for me to consider scalping a lower time frame shark fin. I always try to see it that way. If I get too caught up in trying to find lower time frame shark fins, then I'm going to be so reliant on them. I know people who do scalp 1 minute, 5 minute shark fins. I used to do it all the time. It did work out pretty good, and then I started just seeing, a couple wins and then a string of losses because I'm so biased on direction. Once it forms a shark fin, I'm like, oh, all right, it has to drop from here. But not seeing that it's on the higher time frames, it's actually bullish, so it's going to remain bullish, or it's finding, a better area of confluence on a higher time frame. It could be turning bearish, but on the lower time frame, I'm looking at it on a smaller scale, so it's not going to play out the way I think it's going to, and it never really does. So, I know you guys know Joe. I know you know Derek. They preach higher time frames and taking less trades because of that, because you have a higher probability of actually clearing a trade on a higher time frame than a lower time frame almost every time. It's very common to scalp and then get stopped out and then market goes in your favor. So it's so much better to just scale out, take your time, and just wait for setups like this to play out. I'm just gonna wait for NYSE, see what's going on with US30. I think if I'm going to scalp, it's going to be an indice or like a metal, because these pairs move, and they tend to consolidate after a move that like US30, it pumped all last week. You know, gold, it pumped the week before, and then it started to consolidate in these areas. But as you can see, like even in these areas on smaller time frames, like from 2026 to 2000 back down to 2020, that's actually a pretty decent scalp. It's not a bad way to look at it when scalping, because you can definitely make you can still stick to your risk plan and not have to worry about making a lot of pips in order to hit that goal. So I think it's pretty cool that you can scalp gold like this and still be able to do really well. And I like this, like the 5 minutes forming a shark fin. It's not the best. Bollinger Bands are spread out and they are pretty tight, so this could play if the TDI comes a little lower. Maybe if this candle closes right where it wicked and then pushes back up off this 200 moving average with the shark fin, and it could finally retest that area of 2030 for that push that back down. Like I said, it's just really good, nice for scalping US30 and gold. Just got to be very careful with those pairs. Sure. Yes, sir. So a quick recap on Euro USD. I'm taking this based off of this trend line. Tighter. I'm taking this based off this trend line here. We have rejection. Market did fail to create those lower lows, but I feel like this is that area of consolidation, where a market is just creates that impulsive move to the actual continuation of the trend. So we have the trend line here, and then I believe that it's starting to create that channel. And once it failed to create equal highs and then failed to create higher highs, and it's kind of went more, I'm gonna say at an angle, I feel like it's starting to create that channel, which the channel would look like this once it starts to continue. So it'd be really nice for that, that push, retest of the trend line, and then push right back down to the channel, which is what I want to happen. And that's pretty much it. Just and of course the 50 moving average here with a potential shark fin. Yeah, I used to only focus on US30 at one point, only focus on a certain currency pair, only focus on a metal or gold, or maybe even crypto at one point. But to to actually test this and prove that it works, to me, I feel like you need to have a more diverse portfolio. I mean, like just trading all different types of things, even stocks like Apple, different. Just you can trade anything with this strategy. That's why I love this strategy. Just keep an open mind and always look for these type of setups. And even when they don't play, this could be reversing. It did fail to create lower lows, and uh, it didn't fail to create lower highs. I mean, this is sort of equal, I would say, but the fact that it retests those equal highs and now it's retesting a 50 moving average, it has a high probability of dropping. But anything could happen. Anything could happen. And I try to keep my R&R to a 1 to 2. Sometimes if it's a 1 to 3, I'm like, it's a little too much. It's outside of this trend line. It's the moving averages, the 200 and 800 are coming back up. I would hate to set this trade to break even, and then it breaks even and then plays out. So I try not to get too greedy. A 1 to 2 is very solid for a trade like this. And for a 1 to 3, I mean, I would have had to have caught this 4-hour shark fin up here, move the trade to break even, and then let this run back down here. Is where I would have caught the 1 to 3. Let's just set this to our TP, and then my stop would have been slightly above that equal high. This is where I would have caught my 1 to 3, but I missed the 4-hour shark fin, so now I'm trying to catch a nice little 1 to 2 on the 1 hour. So especially when you're trading, your new trade is based off a previous shark fin that's already played and it's already, pips in profit. You definitely want to not try to get too greedy on this would be considered the next trade or the trade after the actual shark fin or the actual move that's happened. Or I would I like to call it a follow-up trade. Because once it's at this point, you have to consider that this could start like setting itself up for the reversal or for the change of direction. So I try not to get too greedy on these trades. No, I'm not saying that if I'm looking on a higher time frames, I would go for a 1 to 3 or 1 to 2. What I'm saying is when say for instance, this is the first shark fin happening. Like there's a shark fin on the 1 hour, a shark fin on the 4 hour, a shark fin happening on the daily. Like those are the trades where I start looking for a bigger R&R because it's actually the beginning of the biggest move possible. If I was looking at this double top, trying to catch this double top back down to, this 50 moving average here on the 4 hour, yeah, I would set my R&R correctly. I'd most likely be a 1 to 3. And it wouldn't be because I'm setting a really tight stop. It's just because of my overall goal is for it to retest that structure. So yeah, it would just be because of how big the area of profit I'm looking for. And then of course I'm not going to set a ginormous stop loss. I try not to on higher time frames, like sitting in drawdown over almost 100 pips. Like that just was so logical. It just doesn't make any sense to me. At that point, it's like, all right, you're wrong, buddy. Like, just get out. Because if market broke structure here, at this major structure on the 4 hour, it's most likely going to retest that next level of structure. So it's like, why sit and draw down all the way until it hits, and then hope that it rejects? Like, if it pushes past, creates a higher high, it's most likely going to keep going. Like, look, even with this trend line, if you try to draw a trend line here, imagine thinking it's going to reject at that next level when it's actually going to the next level of structure, which would be that trend line. Like you'd just be chasing at that point. So you're better off not doing that. Okay, so we have NYSE happening right now. 2 minutes in. Get on US30. So nothing, no jumps. US30. Gold's chilling too. It might be a nice little smooth Monday. It would be nice to be triggered and then just play throughout the day. It's Monday. It's a really slow day. Most of the time, not gonna say all the time, there's not a lot of movement on Mondays. I would say the best times to trade are Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and then of course Friday is the end of the week. That is another day that's not too much movement. You could catch good trades on Fridays. Don't get me wrong. Just I'm very superstitious when it comes to Fridays. I feel like market's trying to take back from all the people or other traders who actually did really well throughout the week. It sounds pretty crazy, but it does happen. And I feel like Fridays, people who didn't make money during the week, they're chasing. So it could be a mental thing. People are chasing trades because they didn't make money throughout the week. So when they're chasing trades, they get caught up in a loss. And they get caught up in a string of losses, and next thing you know, they lose all the profit or whatever they made throughout the week. Or if you were profitable and not satisfied throughout the week, you try to find a nice trade on a Friday. There's nothing there, so you're just kind of pretty much trying to scalp whatever you can, and then that can also lead up to a string of small losses, which can deplete your profits for the week. All right, well, I appreciate everybody who hopped on. Thank you, Lyrics. You're awesome. You always been supportive. Appreciate you, man. I'm gonna let this run. I'm also gonna post this. I'm gonna post this on YouTube just in case someone gets to watch it before this plays out and actually can catch this, and it would just be a really nice trade. But yeah, I hope everyone has a great day. I hope everyone um let's hope this plays. And I hope if anyone has any questions or anything like that, please feel free to message me on Instagram or um or hit me up in the Discord. I'll be available all day. Yeah, man, it's been a minute, but I really want to keep doing these. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, man. I hope everyone has a great day. Peace.